Oh,
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's the Monday mashup. Joining me, as always, live from Graceland in West Dublin, baby
uh-huh.
Elvis himself, our
How are you?
resident referee, Mark. How are we?
What's the story, Gus? Thanks for having me back on.
Having you back on. You're the Monday guy.
Hey,
You're the
hey,
Monday
I
guy now.
know.
There is no back on. So you
I
boom,
know.
man, get your show away. He just keeps on coming back. What
Now you
more do you
have it.
want?
Back for more, man.
How's things? Did you have a good weekend?
All good, yeah. I was working on Saturday. Got home in time for that match. And then watched a bit of Strictly live from Blackpool. Hey.
Oh, tell it. I don't really take part in watching a lot of those shows and stuff like that and
Yeah,
all. I don't watch. I tell you what, I am hooked on at the moment. I've said it to the boys in the chat as well and all. I've been watching these like celebrity SAS shows and stuff like
all
that.
right, yeah,
They're
yeah.
really, really good, really good. But I always have a thing about kind of Big Brother and I'm a celebrity and stuff like that. It mentally tortures people in a different way. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
always a fallout from it where someone just goes off the rails. You see it
yeah,
year in, year out. So I don't really buy in it. With the SAS one, it's kind of cool because they're not mentally torturing you. They're kind of
yeah,
mentally challenging you
yeah, yeah.
to kind of find yourself and stuff like that. And all. So it looks pretty cool and stuff like that. But
Jermaine
yeah, I
Pennant
can't.
was on one of them recently, wasn't he?
That's the one I was watching.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
Matt,
yeah.
Matt Hancock was
Matt
on it and all.
Hancock,
And
yeah.
there was loads on it. Kerry Katona was on it. Melinda Messenger was on it. There was tons of them on it. Tons.
Yeah, no,
Alexander Burke. Do you know who was brilliant on it? They did like a kind of like a mixed one with America as well. And you won't
okay, yeah.
believe who was brilliant on it. And I thought she went in. I said, "This one's out of here within a day." You know, Jojo Siwa.
Yeah. The
She
bow
was
with the
on
bows and all,
with the
yeah.
bow. She was on one of them, and I was thinking she'll be out of here in a day.
No way.
She was unbelievable, Mark.
Just
Did
show you.
everything, was incredible. Didn't back down from nothing.
Never
Class.
judge a book. I
Class.
watched the last Irish one that was on.
Yeah.
Johnny Ward and all was on it and stuff
Oh,
like
the one
that.
from down to
So
Curra. The one they
yeah,
do down to Curra.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
supposed to be
really good.
very good as well, like, you
Really
know.
cool.
But now
Yeah,
one of the
absolutely.
reasons I watch Strictly is Georgia, my 4-year-old, wants to go up and dance in the sitting room. So me and her dance and they all judge us
Deadly.
and all. So yeah, it's good crack, like, you know.
Deadly. That's cool, isn't it? Like you can't put a price in those moments. They're
No,
brilliant.
no.
Would
She
you
loves
like
it.
to spin the camera down around and show our community?
Oh yes, what we've done today. Look at
We're
this.
off. We're off and
Look at
running.
that.
We're off and running. Look at
Yes,
that.
yes.
All
So
set.
done it
Um,
today. I was off today, so the girls wanted it up before the toy show on Friday. So we said we get it done today.
Brilliant.
So
So
all
with
done and dusted.
what's the toy show at your house now? Would that be a big deal? Is that matching the pajamas, hot
Yeah,
chocolate treats, the
yeah.
whole lot,
Everything you
everything? Yeah.
name it, you name it.
Awesome.
And unfortunately,
Awesome.
it's Black Friday this Friday as well. So, but I'm only working till 7, so I'll get home in time and have me dinner and get the goodies into me before it starts at 9:30 as well. That's if the girls stay awake. It's on like it does be on too late. You know yourself,
Yes.
because
Well, you see, what happens is their build up for it probably starts at half 2, 3 o'clock
yeah,
in the day.
exactly,
So by
yeah,
the time they get to the late, it's
yeah.
crash and burn, really.
So yeah, no, looking
Um,
forward to that on Friday, and then obviously the Premier League is back the weekend.
Premier
Thank God,
League is like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
thank
it's going to be
God.
nice. Yeah. I haven't seen a bit of international football
Yeah, like I said,
because I was at the gig on
yeah,
Saturday, so I didn't get
that
to see
looks
the
savage.
Ireland game.
No,
But
well, you didn't really miss much. I don't. If
no,
if I was a Holland fan or a player, I'd be wondering how they only won 1-0. They were trying to walk the ball into the goal at times, and we were very lucky not to lose about 4 or 5-0. You know.
Morris was over at it, so I'm not sure if he's home yet or not. So
Did
we'll
Did he
see.
get rid of the spare ticket?
I'm not too sure, but the pictures I was getting from him, he was holding bottles of Jameson and all sorts of stuff. So I'm sure it was carnage, but
Yeah, yeah.
sure
And
he
then
had a great time either way and stuff
I
like
know.
that. So
Listen, like the Irish fans, it doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. They'll always have a good time and a piss up as well, and they couldn't have been in a better city for other activities as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's check out some of the OGs in the chat there. Don't forget, folks, as well. I have pinned in the comments there the link to our Anchor or Spotify, if you like, where we do the audio shows. So if you
class.
like audio shows, either for the car or if you're getting in your steps or anything like that, where you don't want to look at these two ugly mugs, you can check out the audio shows. They go up there literally the day after the show happens, stuff like
Deadly.
that. Eno's in. What's the crack? No, all good. Daz is in as well.
How
Big
you
up
know?
Daz.
How you does?
Ian, they really messed up the Italian song. Now they're saying we're going to Germany. I don't know. Bonkers was England losing. Now it's 1-1.
One
Daz is
all,
saying
yeah.
so. That was
One
short
all,
lived.
yeah.
Uh, Big up Acers, Gavi ACL injury, massive blow for Barca. Yeah, we're going to be talking about it. Acers, you must be able to predict and mind read me. I'll have a slide there with Gavi, Vinny Jr. and all the injuries from the Premier League and all. Jack is in. Evening, lads. How are you? Good stuff. All right, bonkers. All right, Acers. Love this community, isn't it? And own goal. Yeah. Oh,
seeing that. And just before that, Grealish had one ruled out for offside VAR.
Jack's tree is going up tomorrow. His Christmas tree.
Yes, go on, Jack.
Want to see pics, Jack? We want to see you posting pics on socials. Let's see it. Was Jermaine Pennant wearing his ankle tag? No, but I said he was wearing a lot more while doing it as well.
They took it off him so he could punch the head around Matt Hancock. Did you see that fight? Two of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fairness, Matt Hancock, he held his own.
Yeah,
hope you're well, bonkers. Bonkers, yeah. Ends Man TV was doing the watch along plus a call-in show. Yeah, Ends is the man, isn't he? I love Ends and stuff. And the other guy, Savage, as well, is really, really good as well. Really, just no bullshit Liverpool content, which is what you want. My new edit is 7.8k views now. Awesome, Jack. Love that. Love those kind of figures.
Fair play, Jack.
Big up from that. I'm okay. 8k now. Oh, Jack, legend.
Fair play, Jack, man.
Now, before we start, of course, we have to remind you as well. Mark, take it away. Every Monday mashup for this season is sponsored by Hogan Elite Trophy Hire.
Yeah, I threw out a post there as well. I've gotten a few inquiries about next month, about Christmas and stuff like that. So we're also taking bookings for next year. We have a few weddings, confirmations, communions and all booked in for next year. But if you do have an event coming up and you want any of the trophies at it, just hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or even message the upper tier and stuff like that, and we'll get it organised for you. And if you actually are in the chat, go over to Hogan Elite Trophy Hire on Insta and give us a follow, because I haven't got that set up that long, so we're looking for a few followers on that as well. So
yeah, absolutely, so, blast it out there.
That's it, yeah. And there's one, like I said, there's 1 or 2 Legends events coming up next year, which I will tell you in when I'm allowed to tell you, when I'm allowed to tell everyone. But there's some really good things coming up next year, Legends wise as well. So keep an eye out for that.
Acers, Morris is boxing cocaine, weed, E-tabs in the red light district. He was bankrupt on the flight back. Which Morris is that, Acers? Is that Chris Morris who used to play for Ireland, or what story? It can't be our Morris. Not with spelling like that.
It's the red light district in Kilkenny. It's not Amsterdam he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, which is the AKA the storage room out the back of the daybreak or whatever it is. Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of that picture, Noel? It was classed as. Thanks for that. Loved the poster and stuff. I love those old school marketing. You know those old school wrestling posters. They're like carnival posters or circus posters.
Yeah.
I love when they do them that way. It's a real old school World of Sport.
That's World of Sport. Remember that ITV, man? Jesus.
Remember it well, man. Remember it well. Like it was yesterday. I have a Big Daddy figure here beside me somewhere, actually.
No way. Join Haystacks and Big Daddy and all, yeah.
Join Haystacks, Big Daddy. Absolutely. Fifth Finley, all the boys. Kendo Nagasaki.
Fifth Finley. Still going, is he still with WWE?
He's not with them anymore. I don't think he was with them.
He's some boy only.
Yeah, I think he did a storyline with The Miz one time, and the National Guard in the US, they sponsor WWE events close, you know, with the tribute to the troops and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think The Miz came out and cut a promo on the National Guard that didn't go down too well.
Okay.
And apparently they pinned it on Finley more than Miz. And it didn't work out too well. Now, I think they sorted things out after, but I think the National Guard weren't too happy about it all, even though it's
he took a hit
and it's wrestling and stuff like that. But he took it, as they say, he took the bullet, let's say, basically. You know?
Right.
Good match, Ukraine versus Italy, still a draw. There have been a lot of attempts to score, pretty intense. Keep us updated if there's any goals.
Definitely.
Same folks in the England game as well. I don't know if you're the England game on there, Mark.
I have the England game, yeah. 1-1. Still 1-1 at the minute. I watched a bit of the first half of the Italy-Ukraine game as well. So, Italy had a great chance to Marco, but go ahead.
The Londis safe was raided before boarding at Dublin Airport. They went to Londis headquarters, cleaned it out and stuff like that. Yeah. So, where do we start, folks? Let's start with this. What did you think of this the other day? 10-point deduction. I'm in two minds about this. One, I think I don't understand why the Chelsea-Man City conversation comes into the equation when the three things are all very different. So I don't think that the Everton situation should be an indication of the other two. I don't think it's very hard to comprehend the other two as well when they're still going through, the legal proceeding or whatever it is, the investigation stage of these charges and stuff like that. But the three of them are all so different. So there's no comprehension. Like, I felt the other day when people were losing their mind about it and going, "Oh yeah, but look at Chelsea and look at Man City and all." And I was saying to people, but both those clubs will have their day. Their day will come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just so happens that Everton is kind of the first one. But that's just the way it goes. But I was on one side, I was thinking, if there was ever a time to get a 10-point deduction, this is the season to get it, because I still don't think Everton will get relegated.
Yeah, with the three teams that will be below them at some stages again, like,
I'd imagine Everton to be out of the bottom three in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. You wouldn't surprise me. But they probably will appeal it, and it might even go down to a 6-point deduction, that sort of way. So, but no,
what way does it work, Marky? What way does it work with that? If they appeal it and they lose, it doesn't go up, does it? Because there was talk of 12 points.
Yeah,
so 10 is the max.
10 is the max,
only get
and then if they appeal it and it's successful, I think it goes to a 6-point deduction then, if I'm correct. But no, I kind of feel for Everton a little, and it's not. Listen, they broke the rules. They should get punished. Absolutely. What we've seen with the others, that's where I don't think it's not fair. When this happened a few years ago, Everton went to the FA and said, "We'll work alongside with you," right? Since then, they haven't really spent much money on players. They brought Ashley Young in on a free, 38-year-old wing back midfield, whatever you want to call his position. They've actually made money on players over the last 4 years as well. It's a 2 million per point, or 1 point for every 2 million they overspent, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 105 and they did 124 or 125 or something like that. Yeah.
So, but listen, they've been trying to sell players to keep the deficit down. Another thing that's gone against them, obviously, they started building the new stadium during COVID, which wasn't great, with interest hikes, the war in Russia. There's the other thing as well. Ashley, who's it?
Usmanov.
Usmanov. He was going to buy the name rights for the stadium, the training ground. Obviously, he had to pull out a bit like Abramovich with the whole Russia war. So it's one thing after another. They tried to sell. What was your man, the Turkish lad's name? The striker they bought for 30 million. Was it Tucson? And they tried to sell him to get money to bring the deficit down again. They couldn't sell him because of COVID had kicked in, so there was no transfer has been done back and forth. So even when he got sent out to Besiktas on loan, and then when they were about to sell him, he gets injured, and so he just saw out the remainder of his contract. So I do feel for them. There's been a knock-on effect, and especially when you think about it now, they haven't really bought any. Well, this season they have with Beppe and stuff like that, and a few other players, like, you feel a bit sorry for Deutsch, and you realise what a job Deutsch has done with the players he has at disposal as well, So I do kind of feel for Everton on all the points that I've just mentioned. But then again, like I said, at the same time, they have overspent. Like, we had to be, you seen us close over the summer, we had to be very careful of the players we brought in. Hence the reason we brought Johnny Evans and stuff in like that, due to financial fair play. I think everyone has to play their part in doing it. And listen, we talked about the Chelsea's. What's City's 112? 115. There you go. But the thing about it is that Chelsea and City both have the people behind them, the right legal teams that will be able to get them out of this situation. And City were looked at last year by the CAS as well, weren't they?
Well, they were cleared by the CAS. Remember, that's what actually happened, and it was based on the time barring stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which doesn't count in this situation. But again, it's very hard to. Again, what I think about Man City. Okay, I think there's definitely questions there that have to be answered.
Yeah.
My biggest concern at the moment, I think, the weight of the football world in the Premier League at the moment is banking on something huge coming out of these 115 breaches. But I read another report today that said out of the 115, there's only really 10 that are the meat and gravy of this issue. The rest is all just filler. You know what I mean? So I'm not too sure what way it equates. Again, because it's so different to the Everton situation, you can't equate it to it as well. You hear a lot of people turn around and going, Well, if City are found in breach of these 115 things, what do we do? Put them down to the five-a-side Astro League down at the back end of Wales or something like that, or something like that.
Playing Salford.
It's not quite the same thing. And again, I'm not leading any credence to Chelsea or Man City or anything like that. I think if you've done wrong, you have to be answerable for it. United got fined earlier in the season for a breach, didn't they, as well?
Yeah.
We got hit over tapping up Van Dijk. We also got hit over the information that we took from Man City and all that kind of stuff. And we were punished for it, paid the fines, did what we had to do and stuff like that. So my overall view on this is I don't think any of the clubs are squeaky clean. And I think if the Premier League and the FA had the resources to really go in and audit all the clubs, I think they'd probably find something in every club.
Yeah.
I just think that's just the way it is. And I don't even think of it as being dirty. I think just there's a shenanigan side to football that just exists that won't go away. That whole marriage between agents and players and clubs and all that kind of thing. You heard John Obi Mikel talking about the situation with Alex Ferguson and all his interview the other day and stuff like that. And all. Whether I believe it or not, I don't know, but it's out there anyway. But it depends. And I think at the time, that agency was being run by Alex's son, wasn't it? Darren.
Yeah.
He was the head of that, wasn't he?
Well,
remember there was the big panorama investigation.
Yeah, that's why he didn't do an interview with BBC on Match of the Day for years. Like,
absolutely,
we had John Obi in the United jersey with taking the pictures and all, and he goes off, and then a day later he's in a Chelsea press conference getting signed. You know, it's
so
madness.
I do think every club has something to answer. The one thing that I did find strange is at the back end of this with Everton, you have Leeds, Burnley, and who's the other team? Leicester. All talking about soon Everton for 100 million each or whatever it is in terms of that's the lost earnings and all that kind of stuff. Now, neither of these three clubs was actually pulling up any routes at the time either. But what I would say is, and it's a key one for me, the Premier League came out and said they were supposed to instigate this last season and they didn't. So they're instigating it this season. So my question to those three clubs is, in their predicament, should they be suing Everton or should they be suing the Premier League for not taking the action when they should have? Because that really is the net effect of it. It can't be on Everton because Everton don't decide when the deduction happens. The Premier League decide that.
100%,
so I found it weird that the narrative going out there was that the three clubs were going to sue Everton when Everton have sat back, forwarded all the information, took the slap on the hand, and waited for the punishment to be handed out.
100%. They've worked with the FA. 100%. They haven't done anything untoward, like, you know.
Now, what I would say about that as well, even if you're working with the FA, I did the analogy the other day when I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, if I'm driving a car tonight and I hit someone and I kill them, it doesn't matter if I go to a police station and hand myself in. The net effect is pretty much the same. You know, you're still going to be done for vehicular manslaughter or whatever it is, and that kind of stuff. So if you've done wrong, you've done wrong. You have to take your slap in hand. What I would say to Everton and Everton fans is, you'll definitely get out of relegation. You won't be going down. There's no doubt about it. And I'd fully expect, and the difficulty one for you, Marky, is now
you're just going to say that. Saturday. Imagine the atmosphere going there now this weekend. It's going to be them against the world. Crazy. They're going to be well up for this. And I was only saying to me dad yesterday, I think it was, I was on the phone to him and said, Dad, I have a really bad feeling about this weekend. With everything that's going on, it's really going to give them a kick up the arse, and it wouldn't surprise me if they bet us this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. I think in England they'll be definitely in pot one, regardless of tonight. So they've already qualified and they can't be caught, so they've won that group.
Yeah, there's 13, 14 minutes left there. I can see them getting another goal or two.
Yeah, Acers are saying that they can increase the fine if they lose the appeal.
Okay, it wouldn't. Yeah, you'd still go for it either way. Go for the appeal, and if you get it down to 6 points, you know, it's.
He did a random weather report on one of Jack's vids. Love that, Jack. He doesn't even go to school. That's what you want. Bonkers is in. Did Chelsea saying they were guilty? I don't think. I think what Chelsea are doing. Chelsea said they furnished the information to the FA or the Premier League, whoever it is. But it still kind of stinks. And I know they're working with them to go through it and stuff like that. But you know, the kind of thing where you've got Samuel Eto'o on your books as a free transfer, yet 30
Yeah,
million was transferred into an offshore account as a potential fee and stuff like
yeah,
that. And there was a lot of stuff going on there like that. And look, we know some of the stuff that's come out since Chelsea's can has been opened with the Ukraine situation and stuff like that and all. And just as you peel back the layers of those onions, it kind of gets a little bit dirtier, a little bit dirtier, a little bit dirtier and stuff like that and all. We know it's not related to the Todd Bowley or the Clear Lake or and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean you're not responsible for stuff that happened.
that's it.
So
Like over the next few weeks, the non-Man City and Chelsea fans will be
yeah.
keeping a close eye, eating popcorn, watching this situation unfold.
Yeah, and I was reading today as well that I think they're still saying that they reckon the Man City situation will take about another 2 years. That's what they're
That's
saying. Which is
Jesus
it's mad,
Christ.
isn't it? But it's just I think what they're doing is they're kind of they've opened up this box now, right? And we know that there's certain clubs in the league that are vital to the league for the broadcasting values, the sponsorships, blah, 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 all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. And obviously, City is very vital to that. So is Chelsea as well. I'm not saying Everton isn't, it being one of the founders of the league back in the day and stuff like that and all. But
yeah,
I just think maybe the Premier League, what happens is they're all over the place at the moment in terms of letting these takeovers happen and not doing full
yeah,
due diligence. Now they've opened up. Now they suddenly, it's a bit like VAR for FFP, isn't it?
yeah,
Now they
yeah.
want to
Two
open it
on.
up now. And maybe
It's
they've opened up something that they don't want to open
want.
up. Like I'm
Yeah,
looking at,
exactly.
everyone knows we're big fans of Forest on this show and stuff like that. We always have a lot of time for Stevie and all and the players and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But how can they bring in 30 players?
I know. Yeah, I know. It's
And like they're not creating that kind of revenue or anything like it. And
and
I just found it weird. And it's just, and I know they brought in a lot of loan deals and stuff like that, but even so,
yeah, yeah,
because I think they
and a lot of
calculate
owner
wage
players
in there as well, don't they?
as
So
well.
wage
Yeah.
would be included
But now,
and
in
stuff.
fairness,
So
listen, because I've been to Goodison a good few times. An old family friend, John Lester, played for Everton. He was the captain of the under-18s back in the day. So myself and my dad used to go over a lot and watch him. We'd be in Belfield. It was their old training ground, and we used to go to Goodison quite a lot. Very well-run club. As you well know, very close to your own heart in terms
yeah,
of there's only a park separating them and all, but
that's it, absolutely.
fantastic little stadium and old school and stuff. But it's just, I know a few Everton fans as well. I was texting Dave, one of the lads, trying to get him on here, but he's working tonight, so it would have been interesting to get his point of view as well. But
Yeah.
I do feel for them in a way, but like I said, obviously they've broken the rules, so listen, they're going to get punished.
Yeah, that additional 9 points is related to if the teams were successful in suing them, the volume of money involved, they would go into administration and ultimately you get another 9 point deduction. And I think it's an automatic relegation down into the championship, isn't it, for
Yeah,
administration?
administration's 9
Yeah.
points, yeah,
But
and yeah.
as I said earlier, I don't know why the clubs are suing Everton. They should be suing the Premier League because ultimately they're the custodians of handing out the sentence. So,
Yeah,
you can't hold that at Everton.
I
Really
think
difficult.
they've 2 weeks now to make the appeal or something, isn't it?
Yeah, Jack England. Yeah, I don't support them because if the Tories, if I had to
Tories.
support an international team, I would support Ireland, and my last name is from Ireland. I like that, Jack. Well done.
Fair play, Jack.
I like that. Like that.
Especially we'll be getting a new manager in soon, so we'll
Shades,
see what
shades
happens.
of shades of Evan Ferguson out of that post, Jack. I like that. I like that. Northern Ireland beating Denmark. Yeah, no surprise. Northern Ireland have been developing nicely, actually. They've been doing. I know they've fallen off a little bit recently, but they were going well.
Yeah, no, they done all right. And there's a big uproar about Casement Park up there for the next Euros and stuff like that instead of Windsor Park as well. So we shall see
Yeah.
what happens there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, Jack. I don't know. Henry, maybe he was. I think last night when he was on our one, wasn't he saying he wasn't feeling the best and stuff like that? So hard to know. But big up Henry and Jack. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what way this is going to kind of pan out and stuff like that and all. But I think so many fans and so many teams are banking on Man City being obliterated. And I did say the other night as well that if City were taken out of the picture and relegated down, what a competitive Premier League we would have.
But not
Like it'd
only
be
that, like because
crazy.
you said it'd be 2 years. The likes of Pep and Haaland could be gone in 2 years as well when it
Yeah.
actually does happen. So you never know. It could be. Listen, it's all if buts and maybes. But like it'd be an interesting situation with them gone down and maybe even Chelsea as well. Blackpool might be thereabouts to get promoted into the Premier League at that stage, up from League One into the Championship and then straight into the Premier League.
Imagine a situation. Imagine a situation where that Everton lose the appeal and then they get fined they get sued by these clubs and all. Imagine if those 3 teams went down with the bottom 3 teams that go down as well.
Yeah.
And what way does that work then? Do you have 6 coming up from the Championship? Or what way?
I
It's unprecedented. How would it work?
Never happened before, so they'd have to work something out.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Or is it a situation where just those 3 clubs would go down and then you get the 3 promoted clubs coming up to take the place of these 3 clubs? I don't know what way that work. But can you imagine a situation if the 3 were relegated and then you got the two teams in the Championship coming up, plus the other 4 from the playoffs all coming up, all getting promoted. My God, that would be situation. Insane. The only thing about it is it'd be a very weird season then that season with 6 promoted clubs out of the Championship.
No doubt Norwich be thereabouts coming back into sneaking in the back door into the Premier League again.
We might find a way Liverpool to fall over the line then. Who knows? Who knows? Jackson, 4 weeks till Christmas. Yeah, it's getting close now.
Only a few days to the popular toy show over here as well, Jack. So
that's a big toy show over here. Yeah. Absolutely delighted that Sky and Premier Sports and TNT Sports have great matches on TV this weekend. Aces, you will have the feed up just like the rest of us. And we've got Survivor Series. What more would you want? I'm sure there's a good UFC and everything else on as well.
Katie Taylor's fighting this Saturday night as well, isn't she?
Oh, is she as well? Yeah.
Yeah, she's fighting on Saturday night. And not only that, the best news is, I think, am I right in saying that you're back in your familiar early lunchtime kickoff this weekend?
I am 12:30, yeah. So, yeah, 12:30. Would you believe, I don't know whether I said this to you last week, but Alison Becker lands on Friday evening from Brazil.
No way. And is there kicking off?
Kicking off 12:30 Saturday morning. Away. Now I know it's only up the road, but away.
No, but still, yeah.
Yeah. So he's literally getting off a plane, going home, getting shut eye. He has had no time with the gaffer. He'll only hear from the gaffer on the coach.
Yeah. And if he say anything happened to him, is Guivian still injured as well? I think he is.
No,
he? No, he's back.
He was back. Yeah, he was on the bench for the last couple of games, as far as I know.
Right.
I think he was anyway. But sure, no, Hassel, we have Adrian.
Yes. I'll say no more.
That's why I was going to do the preview for the game earlier this week, and I said I better wait till the pressers on Friday because I know Pep is an absolute schmuck when it comes to injuries and stuff like that. He plays did you see the list of injuries today for Man City?
Yeah, seeing that. Yeah,
like 8 or 10 players now. Every one of those players will be available, with the exception of Kevin De Bruyne. Well, you see, he does it every single time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, just the still 1-1 here as it stands. Italy are going through. I think it must be still a draw in the other game, is it?
Must be, yeah. They haven't said that. There's been no other update anyway. So
yeah, England are top by 4 points or something like that. Anyway, so as it stands, 4 minutes ago, 1-1 still. Harry Maguire, can't say a few minutes up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, big up, Danny. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Jack, what it is, it's Danny. A toy show, as in toys, as in kids' toys. That's what it is. So it's on every year they do it. And what they do is they bring in all the latest toys and some retro throwback stuff. And it's just a whole toy show with kids singing and choirs and carols. And
it's a big tradition over here, isn't it? Like
massive tradition over here. Massive tradition over here. But it's just a big toy show on the Late Show. It's
I can do a toy show selling my toys from Best Menswear, Jervis Street Shopping Centre, if you want, Jack. We can do that. If
you want to look as good as the Irish rugby team,
yes,
and Leinster.
Oh yes,
there you go. Man, so Boz played like a boss for Hungary. What a player we've got! Yeah, absolutely.
He's some player, isn't he?
I'd like to see him score a few of those goals. I'd like to see him score a few of those goals on Saturday. Now that would be class.
How old is he, Gus?
22. And he's the Hungarian captain.
Yeah, that's unreal, isn't it? Like,
you know, it's
unreal. Seen him a lot
if you think about it, we could have 10 years of him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 32.
Yeah, unreal. What a find. Wasn't cheap though. Wasn't cheap.
Oh, listen, you still get. Imagine if he had came to us, it would have been double what you paid for him. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I think if we kept him for 10 years, it's about 6.5 a year, which is still anyway.
That's nothing.
Did you see Shabazz was Yeah, did you see that? Did you see him drinking the
No,
vodka
no,
or something? Yeah,
no.
after the game or whatever it was, he went
Yeah,
up and he started drinking vodka with the fans and all and stuff like that.
love it.
He's
It's good to
he's an
see them let
absolute
their hair down as well, isn't it? Like,
he's a headbanger. He's an absolute headbanger.
uh,
3 triple sub: Trent for Phillips, Rashford for Saka, and Grealish
yeah,
off for Palmer.
Palmer, yeah,
Yeah. You get the feeling these boys are checked out on the international beach, aren't they? Really, I think they're just
yeah.
being careful because of the season and stuff like
See,
that. So
exactly.
many injuries, stuff like that.
Ooh.
Rashford must be all right. I thought he went off injured. Was he not an injury though? How come he's interesting that he's okay today?
Yeah, no. Macedonia
Didn't
had
he?
a header over there a minute ago. Just
Yeah.
ball in.
Jack says, yeah, I thought you said toy show. Yeah, absolutely. That's our thick Dublin slang, as they
That,
say.
yeah, yeah.
Don't know why it took it twice. They named it twice, Danny. It's like New York. There you go. New
Yeah.
York, New York. 4
Yeah.
minutes plus injury time, 1-1. It's embarrassing for Southgate, really, to have that riches of players and stuff like that and all. And they do it. And listen, we say it. There's no easy international games anymore, unless
You're playing us. Oh
unless you're
well, yeah,
France
yeah.
versus Gibraltar. What
It's
was your
like
thoughts on this? I was looking at this. The scores were coming through while I was at the gig and stuff like that, and I was
on the
thinking
aces.
it was really, really cool, and I kind of liked it until I seen Didier Deschamps' halftime talk. Did you see this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that disgusted me. That
Yeah.
disgusted me. Then you know what I mean.
But like
Um,
it was like something out of FIFA, wasn't it? Like I was obviously
yeah,
watching the Ireland game, but one of the lads actually wrote, I don't know if he's in the chat or not, was texting me and he said 7-0. So I went on live score. I was like, what? So then I kept keeping an eye on it because I was in my head, I was like, I wonder how high they can get, you know? But yeah, like Gibraltar down to listen, it just shows we only bet them. They're the only team, sorry, we bet in the group. Like that doesn't say much about us when you see that result either. I know they were down to 10 men and stuff like that.
mm,
They're only in it like a few years, aren't they? Really, as a team, so
yeah,
it's just like. Well, listen, for France, it's one for the record books. So, is
yeah.
there
But
many?
I think when you look at these things, yeah, record books. But like if it's two kind of really established nations, like
Mm,
if they're doing this to a Germany or a Spain or a Holland or whatever it is, it carries a bit of credence.
yeah, it's like when
Is anyone really going to be talking about this in 10 years' time?
the
Except it's
French
the record.
Deschamps will and the lads that played and whoever like in France, but it's like say when you bet us, what was it, whatever. I'm not won't get into the scoreline, but that holds a bit more for you as Liverpool fans beating us. You know, scoring 7 against us and stuff.
It feels historic.
Yeah, yeah.
It
It's like
feels historic,
when we
you
bet
know?
Arsenal 8-2 and stuff like that as well. You know, that sort of way. I
Yeah.
remember that more than beating Ipswich 9-0 that time. And it was the first time it
Ah,
happened and blah, blah, but because it's Arsenal,
mm,
it means that
yeah,
bit more.
yeah.
So, yeah, listen.
Yeah, like
Uh,
you know the way you talk about like remember when you won the European Cup and the treble. You
yeah,
remember where you were.
yeah.
You know, remember when we won in Istanbul. Remember when we beat Barcelona 4-0. You remember where you were.
I
Is
can't
anyone
remember
gonna
where it was for the Istanbul one, actually.
yeah, but you know what I mean? Would you like me to remind you? Do you want to tell them where I was? Because I wasn't in the room much.
Oh, he bounced off the
I
sofa
went
into the
missing.
kitchen. You want to
Yeah,
see it? We were all in
absolutely.
Greystowns watching it. Yeah, it was something
Half
else.
time was yeah, it was like a wake.
I
But
didn't know
I
whether
don't
to
think
laugh or not. At half time, it was 3-0. I was like, what do I say? I'll get fucked out of Greystones here and have to
that's because
walk
you
down the
were all
motorway to
worried
those
about what I
up.
was going to put in the tea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
exactly.
but with this one, I don't think I looked at it and I said it to Ben on the way home the other night as well. It says no one's going to remember where they were when France bet Gibraltar 14-0.
14-0, yeah. Like I
It's
said, it's
just
the
not
players that
happening.
were involved and Deschamps, obviously, a little kind of thing for them, but I wouldn't read too much into it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Jack, yeah, Southgate. Did you hear Southgate today talking about he wants England to be ranked number 1 in the world by the time these competitions come around? That's the kiss of death saying something like that, isn't
big time, especially like when you haven't won anything yet.
it? I would say, do you know something, Jack, with this toy show? The
I
parents
actually
do
am,
be
Jack.
more the parents do be more pumped actually than the
Oh,
kids.
100%, Jack. I'd be
Because as
more
we said
excited.
earlier, the kids, and especially if you've got young kids, they do be conked out by the time
Yeah.
it really comes around. They do be wasted.
And in fairness as well, Jack, like there's big celebrities come on it. Like Ed Sheeran was on it one year and stuff like that, and surprising
Yeah.
the kids and all. So they always have good guests and stuff. And you should try get it on. I think you probably get it online on RTE or something like that. You should watch it.
RTE player, yeah. If you
Yeah.
have it, if you have a VPN, you can just switch it to Ireland
Yeah,
and
and
go
it's
onto the RTE player and stuff like that.
Patrick Kilty's first one as well
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And Acers, by the way, I've seen the comment there, yeah. And we will be in Toymaster and Smith over the next few weeks. And actually, we had the Premier League trophy in with Toby and Toymaster there not so long ago. I think about 2 months ago or 3 months
There you
ago.
go.
So
And for the discount.
You know it.
And he's in. I live in France and nobody was hyped after that 14-0. Yeah. And it just, you know something, the Deschamps speech really killed me and stuff like that. Go out there, lads. You're on the cusp of this now. And I'm thinking, you're going out there against a load of lads who are just, they barely have a kit. Give it a rest, will you? Give it a rest.
And in fairness, I've been in that situation as a referee doing the kids' football. And like, the team could be a good few goals up at half time. And in fairness, I've had a few managers come over to me from the opposition and say, like, if you want to call it up early, we'll call the other manager over and stuff like that, because it deflates the young lads and stuff like that. No one wants to go get beaten 10, 12, 13, 14 nil. Like, it doesn't do any good for the confidence. They want to go out and enjoy themselves at the weekend. So I've called a few matches up early and stuff like that. I always give a look over to both managers, and you might get a little thing and you just blow it up then. There's no point playing on.
Should this be the case at international level, at the professional level? Like, if this gets to 7, 8, 9, 10-0, should the ref be blowing it up?
Well, it's a like
I know you've broadcasting rights and TV rights and all.
And in fairness, like, you're not necessarily applying the laws of the game when you blow up early in a kids match. So you have to apply the laws of the game. So for that, in that manner, you have to keep the game going for the full 90 minutes plus injury time that's going on. So by law, you're not allowed to do it. But obviously, common sense prevails if you're out on a Saturday morning refereeing a kids match and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. He's very good down there at Crystal Palace.
I like him a lot, man.
They will struggle to keep him. But they'll want their pound of flesh for him, I'd imagine. France had nobody in front at the field. Yeah, it was
mad, wasn't it?
Good. 6+ added on. Still 1-1, I presume.
By the way, Holland could have bet us 14-0.
Yeah.
Lucky
number 7. All the Man United 7 mugs. I don't know. There's been some pretty good Man United 7s over
Jack,
time.
I was liking you tonight and everything till you said that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
We were sending you links to the toy show and all. Now that's
you must have been on that. Is it the whiskey? Is it Shankly or Paisley's whiskey? Are you on that tonight?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the price of the drinks in the Christmas markets.
I did. I actually did.
Well, you wouldn't be on very much over there. Yeah.
$6.50 for a pint of Australia. Pound.
Yeah, pound. Yeah. We deal in yo-yos, so.
$4.50 for a bottle of Heineken. It's probably not even the big bottles either. But then I seen it was started out. There was $6.50 for a hot chocolate. Then if you go up and get like a different flavor, like air or whatever, it goes up to $7 and all. You're having a laugh. That was mad.
Jack, Xmas Eve boxes, Mark. Xmas Eve boxes a thing in your house?
No.
You don't do Xmas Eve boxes?
No, we don't do Christmas Eve. We go out for breakfast and all on Christmas Eve, myself and the girls and all, but we don't.
Hillary still does them. Hillary still does them, yeah. And Lauren's 23 and she still does them.
No way.
So
that's great. That's daily though.
You get a pajamas in there and a kind of like a, like a link set or one of those kind of sets.
Yeah.
A few other bits and stuff like that and all, The only Xmas Eve box I used to get is off the outfit when he came in from the pub. Hit me with a left down boy saying Happy Christmas.
Yeah, I know that. No. We was only talking about with my mum earlier. Georgia found one of the toys up in the room there the other day, so we had to say, we bought it for you for being good. It's only a small little kind of creative colouring set. And my mum says, that never happened to you. He says, Ma, I remember waking up one morning in Rosemount or one night and looking out the window, and I seen her coming from our mate Suzanne Tate's house with presents under her arms and all. She thought I didn't see it. Like, so she found out today. So Mary, if you're watching, I do know.
Suzanne Tate?
Yes.
She doesn't have a son, Mark Tate.
Mark Tate, yeah.
Mark Tay went to school with me. He was one of my friends in school.
No, wait. Actually, that's her nephew. Sorry, her nephew.
Our
Yeah, yeah,
nephew, is it? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Mark used to live just up the road from your mum's, facing the pitches.
The pictures. Yeah, yeah,
Mark
yeah,
Tate, yeah, I went to school with Mark
yeah.
Tate all through Benildes.
No
He was one of
way.
my
There you
buddies in
go.
Benildes. Mark, shout out Mark Tate. Good
Small world, isn't
footballer.
it?
Not a bad
Yeah, yeah.
footballer either.
Oh,
Decent
everyone from
footballer.
Roseman's a good baller because you know
Tell
yourself.
Danny's in the 14-0 has already been forgotten by the French, absolutely.
Yeah.
Flax Niall, absolutely. Jesus. Don't worry, I will get a virus one. There'll be no Lego for you this year, Jack. Do you know we went out one year actually? Ben's mad into Star Wars. So we went out and we bought him a couple of these Lego Star Wars sets, and they're quite expensive. Galactic Hero type things, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we put them up in the wardrobe behind all the clothes, and we bought them early December. Might have even bought them in a Black Friday or something like that. Got a few quid off them. They're expensive. 2 weeks before Christmas, he turns around to me and goes, "Not really feeling that Lego anymore in Star Wars.
Oh my god.
Would you mind if we
way.
change the Santi list?"
Oh god. What did you do? Oh my god.
I was waiting for Benoit's music to kick in, but it didn't happen. There you go. Tell you, man, crazy.
Oh, I love it. Jesus,
Wait, what's a digital virus?
Well, Morris be coming back from Amsterdam with a few other viruses. That's all I know.
A digital virus, Jack, is the one that gives you an awful headache, but it doesn't give you an actual rash because you have to try and sort it out. My edit is now on 8.1. Jack, you're absolutely killing me here.
Fair
Send some of
play,
those
Jack.
videos over to us, will you?
Yeah,
Manager should
absolutely.
inform the fourth official that they forfeit the game.
They can't do that, but like I was saying, it's for like when I do it, it's my decision. It has to be coming from a team. It's like if a team gets so many players sent off, you have to blow up the game, you know.
Yeah. Full-time draw in 12 days' time. Draw in 12 days' time. Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't mind my
Temple
cousin.
Bar.
Sorry, go ahead, cousin.
Temple Bar point of Carlsberg is €14 daylight robbery. Depends what time you go in at. That must be from the 11 to watershed time.
But if it's mad aces, if you know, if you like myself and a few of the lads go for a point sometimes around town, whatever. But they do a local rate in some of these pubs as well. So just mention that you get a local rate. It's a bit cheaper than the normal. But listen, it's like anywhere you go. I've been to Budapest, and you get into all these tourist traps. You're gonna pay the extra money, like that sort of way.
Every city has a Temple Bar. Every
100%.
city has a Temple Bar. So no surprise at all. Right, let's get into this. Let's talk injuries. Acers sort of alluded to it earlier. Gavi, unfortunately, doing the ACL. Very, very sad for the lad and stuff like that. But it's
terrible.
I always worry about players, in that kind of 17 to 21 bracket, because like the whole skeleton situation is still developing and knitting together and all that kind of thing at that age. You see it even with big lads like Evan Ferguson and stuff like that, and especially with the bigger lads. And because these guys are such athletes at the moment, they're training all the time, multiple times a day, nutrition, sleep, everything,
sports
and all.
Science and all.
So they're in that optimum mode of development within their structure and stuff like that and all. And it doesn't take much at all. We look like how many times have we seen players pull up in this season and all where no one's even tackled them. And they're doing stuff, and it's crazy. And obviously Vinny Jr. down there as well is out with the injury as well.
Well, Gavi's played a hell of a lot of minutes this season. I think isn't he the second outfield player with the most minutes under his belt as well. So it's I think 999 minutes. I think already he's played this season for Barcelona. That's a hell of a lot.
Yeah, it's just, and it's a lot actually, and it's a lot on these guys still developing stuff like that. They really at this stage at that level, if you're playing European football plus league football plus domestic cups plus internationals and all that kind of stuff, you're never recovering. You're never really in 100% recovery mode and stuff like that.
And even when he was with the academy for Barca, when we had COVID as well, we were coming back off COVID, and there was a lot of games being caught up on as well. So there wasn't really a break. Instead of the winter break last year, they had the World Cup as well. In the Spanish league, the week before Christmas till January, they have that winter break, the 3 or 4 weeks off. They didn't have that because of the World Cup. They were straight back into it then as well. So this all adds up and adds up and adds up. And unfortunately, the way the game is played and the pace of it nowadays, it's catching up on a lot of players, as you can see by the list on the screen there as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one when you read it as well, isn't it? Because like you see, obviously yourselves and Newcastle now. Newcastle's 14 has really accelerated. Probably what in the last 2.5 weeks.
Weeks, yeah.
They've got a lot of injuries over that last 2.5, 3 weeks, as opposed to spread kind of out and stuff like that and all. But it's huge numbers. When you think like 14 injuries, like
Yeah.
is huge,
Just,
and even for big clubs, it's huge.
yeah.
You know what I
I'm just
mean? Then
looking. West Ham only have 5. That's the lowest. Is it 5? Let me
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah.
That looks like
But I think with West Ham, if you look what Moisey has done as well, he's kind of there has been a bit of rotation there and stuff like that
definitely
now,
with Europe as well
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah. But it's kind of weird as well because you look at some of the teams there as well that have maybe 8 or 9 injuries and stuff like that as well, which is quite high. The likes of Sheffield United and stuff like that, who really have only really had one game a
one
week,
game.
really.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's kind of when you're trying to figure out what's going on here, you know what I mean? And some
It's
of it is related to mileage. Do you know what I'd like to do? I'd love to someone to do a profile of all the injuries and see what the age is, the
is of
demographic
them.
of it
Yeah,
is, and stuff
of
like
it.
that. Is it younger players? You know, is it older players? What's happening in that middle area and stuff like that, or is it just an even spread? Um, but I think as well they probably have to look at as well this lark of you know double training sessions and stuff like that, and the amount of stuff that they do and all. I wonder, should they be investing in things like maybe they have the likes of hyperbaric chambers or cryotherapy and stuff like that and all for recovery and stuff. Now maybe they have them because they're at the top end of elite science and stuff like
But
that
sure,
and all.
it
But
goes. You look at the amount of international breaks we've had already this season. What's it? 3 since August, end of August.
3 in 3 months.
And it's not only that, these players are travelling from England over to Brazil, South America, this, that, and the other. It's a lot for them, isn't it? Like I
Literally,
know they
literally
listen. I
half,
know they
literally
get
half the season. Literally
yeah,
half the season has been international break so far.
and I know people say, "Oh, they get paid hundreds and thousands and this, that, and the other." That doesn't immune your body from picking up these injuries either. You know, whether it be on
No.
international duty or club duty. You know.
Yeah. And we know they're not flying Ryanair and all, they're flying top notch and all that kind of stuff. But like your knees and your joints and all that kind of stuff at altitude and all that kind of thing, you're still doing it. I spoke earlier about Alison Becker arriving back on Friday evening to go
Yeah,
into a game on Saturday now. Fortunately enough, he's a goalkeeper as well and stuff
yeah,
like that. And again, so it's generally unusual and stuff like that. But it's just so weird, and especially now because most of the teams now have become so globalized now. So you have players in there from Japan or China or wherever it is, and then you might have players coming in from just all over the world.
yeah,
Players coming in from the States, from Australia. You know what I mean? There's a real international flavor. Whereas like maybe years ago you had a good spread of kind of Irish, English, Scottish, and Wales, and then you'd have that sprinkling in there of international talent. But generally, your core team would be, dare I say, local. Let's say, if you like, for
yeah.
lack of a better word. Now it's quite the reverse now and
First,
stuff like
yeah,
that. When you look at most teams now, I know they still have that ruling the homegrown talent and stuff like that and
yeah,
all. But you look at most of the teams that field out there, they're starting 11s on any given Premier League weekend. The spread is colossal. I mean,
big
we
time.
we have at the moment we have our starting 11 basically. We've got Brazil. We've got England, we've got Holland, we've got
Hungry,
Scotland, we've got Uruguay, we've got Hungary, we've got Japan, we've got Colombia, we've got
Colombia, yeah,
Brazil, we've got Egypt. Like, can you get a bigger spread? We're literally hitting all 4 or 6 points of the globe,
yeah.
basically, with the talent that's in there. So it's no surprise that these things are happening and stuff like that. And I do sometimes laugh when people talk about like, oh, he's getting paid 300 grand a week. But your knee and your ACL and your
I don't
ankle
know
doesn't
that.
know anything about
Yeah,
300 grand a week.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
It's like in the horse racing. I do always say people say, "Oh, he's 18 to 1." I
mm,
said, "But the horse doesn't know he's 18 to 1." Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah, absolutely. Where are we? Daz the time Morris is on at 10 o'clock. I wonder, is it a live Daz or is it a recording? Because I'd say he's banjaxed from the weekend.
if it's
When
alive,
what
I'd love to see his face. I'll switch it on
Yeah,
myself
I'd
on the
say he'll
telly.
be hanging all right. I'd say he'll be hanging. Niall, please play Wonderwall so we can batter those Man City fans. Absolutely.
Be a good
Be
game.
interesting if that was. Niall, please do the Vinny Jr. dance celebration. Absolutely not. Jack, I can't move at the moment. I was out on Saturday night, and it's a while since I partaked in a mosh pit and jumping around
Love it.
at my
Love it.
age. So my back is still hammered from it.
And
That
that was
Virgin
just in the
Media
house.
player. Yeah, that was just on the way home. That was in the car on the way home. That Virgin Media player, is that free or is there a charge? No, it's free. Absolutely free. And when you know, you know. We can build this thing together. Nothing's going to stop us.
Starship. Yeah.
Nice,
What
Jack,
film was
nice.
that from?
I know it as well.
Yeah,
Go on, tell me.
The Mannequin with Kim
Oh,
Cattrall.
yeah,
Do
the
you remember that?
mannequin number. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
It's good to watch.
absolutely. Yeah, God.
Banger
Hillary's
of a film
engrossed
as
in the
well.
Hallmark channel at the moment. We have the Hallmark channel, so it's just
My
back-to-back
mom's
Christmas movies.
My mom's the exact same. Mind you,
Yeah.
yesterday morning Elf was on Sky Movie, so we myself and Georgia sat here yesterday morning watching that, so that wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I find with a lot of those Christmas movies, though, it's just literally the script is the same. All roads lead back to the Christmas tree and the family,
Yeah.
basically.
Them Hallmark ones as well. It's always a woman goes back to her hometown and falls in love with the lad that she met her high school sweetheart or whatever, and he's always a widow and stuff like that. But it's the same story, just repeated, you know. Sorry, Hill, if you are watching. Sorry for.
Yeah, and they always have great scarf and glove and hat sets, don't they? Yeah, absolutely. I actually seen a TikTok yesterday, and you can go in and have breakfast now in the plaza from Home Alone.
Oh yeah,
Trump's hotel or something like that. You can go in there now and you can have and they do like a special Christmas Home Alone breakfast or something like that, which I think would be pretty cool. But they have it all decked out, and the Christmas trees the way it was and all, the new trees and stuff like that. So pretty cool and stuff like that and all. Yeah, I actually seen I seen a comparison as well from the Home Alone house. Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
then and now.
Yeah,
looks pretty cool. It hasn't changed that much now, in fairness.
And they always used to say, how could he afford the house and all the kids on the job that he was doing?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, 100%. And but you see what they did as well. They put them all in economy, and they were up on first class.
First class.
You wouldn't get away with that nowadays.
No, definitely
not. We'll see you later, kids.
Especially because I fly Ryanair, I can't do that anyway. I'll say no more.
Yeah, Ian is saying Jack will be doing that podcast, I'd say. So, yeah, he has Jack, I'd say, roped in. All right, absolutely. Eminem and Fatboy Slim. Classics.
I'll tell you, myself and my two brother-in-laws were only talking about the Marshall Matters album there the other day. What an absolute banger of an album. Anytime I listen to any of the songs, it just takes me back. But
I follow a TikTok page at the moment, and they have the boys that were on that morning show, the hip-hop morning show with your man Charlemagne and all.
Oh,
What they do now is they bring in a hip-hop guy or a rap guy, and they give them two options to pick. So you might go Biggie or Tupac, Snoop or Eminem or whatever it is. And if you love both of them, you have to take a shot. And if you have to pick one, then you pick one. So the guys are going, I can't pick between these. Busta Rhymes and DMX or whatever it is. So these lads are just taking these shots and nearly leaving the place langered like flounder.
You know what we could do? Me and Dazzler, the last live show before Christmas, we could have something like that and we all do a shot on screen.
That's it, yeah, absolutely.
We'll have a few Christmas drinks with all the lads in the chat over the screen,
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you make of this? David
Dean,
plenty to say.
He's gone around a lot lately. I've seen him on Talk Sport and all day the other week and stuff like that. He's not bad for a man 80 years old, is it?
Yeah, he's had a good life though. He's had a good life.
Very good. Yeah, very
good. He has lived the life.
Very good life.
He enjoyed his position at Arsenal, let's say. What did you make of it though? I mean, first of all, what did you make? Obviously, Arteta was very emotional. He's a very emotional guy, Arteta.
Yeah.
Anyway, and felt he had been wronged. And obviously now everything has come out after the fact to say we kind of half believe it was a good goal, blah, 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 blah. And we've all varying thoughts on that and stuff. But regardless, the goal stood. But what did you make of Arsenal coming out round in behind them then with the statement, which was kind of weird?
No, it was. As you know, at the time, I felt it was a foul. It was a push in the back quite clearly. I think a lot of the former referees have come out and said it. The likes of Gallagher and a few others who I don't mind Dermot Gallagher, but a few of the other ones is the likes of Clattenburg and all, I don't really have much time for his opinion, but they all did come out and say it was a foul that shouldn't have been given. I did agree with it. So I agree with where Arteta was coming from. I just don't agree with his outburst. Now, listen, I've always said it's always tricky for a manager to get interviewed straight after a game when the emotions are high. Obviously, for viewership and stuff like that, for the station, it's great, for the people watching. But yeah, I don't agree with the outburst. I think he should have went in and had a chat with the referees, and which you're allowed to do after the game, and in the referees room and stuff like that. And then Arsenal coming out as well. It's just, I don't know. It's just, to me, it just seems a bit kind of not shady, but like it's almost like if they're accepting what you said. And did he get a fine from the FA? Didn't he?
I don't know whether he got a fine or whether there's something coming. I know he's being charged.
I think there is something coming, like a fine.
Yeah,
and stuff
he's
like
definitely
that,
being charged by them, all right. And there's talk that they might even take action against the club in relation to the backup statement. If you
yeah. No, it is, and they shouldn't listen. I suppose as a club, you always have to back your manager. But in those certain situations, like I said, I agree.
Just not as vocally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I totally agree with what you said and the sentiment in terms of the decision. I don't like the way he went about it, and he started berating and then did you see him last week when they bet Burnley? He was laughing and joking about it. And you're just like,
VAR was great.
exactly. So it's just like, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But listen, I'm always going to be biased.
Dean's statement was good, though, wasn't it? On Talksport, he said, if I was at Arsenal, that would not have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
In 101 minutes of football, we only had one shot on goal.
I said
you have to accept decisions that can go for and against you.
Because I said that in the mashup, didn't I? I said, take a closer look at your own team. You one shot on goal in the whole game. You weren't the better team on the day. Concentrate on that rather than blaming the officials. Yeah. Even though, like I said, the
only thing I would say about the bottom one there, decisions go for you and against you. That's all well and good. When you're a chairman of a club, it's probably not going to cost you your job.
Yeah.
If you're a manager of a club, it can easily cost you your job, because I really don't buy into this luck even itself out kind of thing. I know a lot of people go for it and stuff like that. I don't believe that's the case at all. I know teams get decisions over the course of a season and 38 games and stuff like that, but it's like, does it really even itself out?
Yeah.
Like, as a lot of these teams, as Sheffield United that season, did it even itself out and stuff like that and all, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's the case. And what does even itself out even mean? If you're talking about Arsenal, Liverpool, United, City, the bigger clubs and stuff like that and all, like, the difference between winning a league or winning a cup or winning a bit of silverware, it's so fine. You know what I mean? And when people talk about the luck even itself out and all, and going, well, how does the luck even itself out if you get a bad decision in a cup final?
Yeah.
Because you can't go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it just doesn't sit with me. It just doesn't sit with me at all.
There ain't no replay. Yeah. I have to laugh. Kyle Walker, I don't know if any lads seen it getting interviewed after the game. It looks like he's getting interviewed with his son.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Sorry, go ahead, cuz.
Yeah, no, but players play too many games a year. No wonder matches quality dropped, and a lot of injuries and shit. Yeah, absolutely. And look, you want teams every week to be able to play the best players that they can. You know what I mean? You look at Arsenal and look at your man Timber, injured straight away after starting so well for Arsenal, and literally injured from the get-go and stuff like that. So it just puts a dampener on things, stuff like that. And look, as much as we want to beat City and we don't want City winning everything and stuff like that, we want to see players like Kevin De Bruyne playing and stuff like that and all. You know what I mean? You don't want to go and beat teams and then you have a little asterisk beside it. Oh, you only bet us because, we didn't have Rodri, or we didn't have De Bruyne, or we didn't have Haaland, or whatever it is, You know what I mean? So it's for me, I want to beat the best if I can. Niall, last live stream before Christmas, can you please eat the sweet spaghetti? Eat the sweet spaghetti. No chance. I'll tell you what I am eating these days at the moment. Hillary is making banana bread these days, and it's
nice.
Nice.
You can't beat a bit of homemade banana bread.
Nice and hot in the microwave with a bit of melted butter is lovely.
Oh, yes.
Mark, what's your prediction for Taylor on Saturday?
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about it. Listen, obviously being at home and the home crowd behind her, but I just don't think she has the legs anymore, or the stamina.
Is this back to the original weight or the same weight as last time?
It's the same way as far as no,
Because
wasn't
if
it?
it's the same weight as last time, she
Like
got
she was, yeah.
pulverized.
I can't.
You know
I've
what I
a
mean?
bad feeling about it. So,
Because I think what
obviously,
is it? It's a two-way jump, isn't it?
so
That she
yeah,
made,
yeah.
isn't it? Two weights up, I think, or something. Yeah,
She looked dead in her feet after the
yeah,
last match. But listen, obviously I want her to win, but I can't say it happens.
yeah. Well, when you jump up those weight classes as well, it's difficult
It's
because you're getting
tough.
hit by
It's
a girl
tough,
with
man.
serious
Yeah,
power. You know what I mean? You're not when you're down in those lower levels and all it. Those lower weight classes, a
yeah.
lot of it is about volume of punching and stuff like that. That's why so many of them go the distance and decisions. But
It's
when you step up into those heavier weights and stuff like that, they're hitting you with
yeah.
blocks, and you're gonna feel it. You're
She
not gonna
took
be
a
able to
load
block
of
it.
hits the last time, but like, yeah, I can't. I'll be watching it, supporting her, but I can't see her winning.
Yeah, absolutely. We remember Paul on Saturday on Sunday. Absolutely a second anniversary and
Definitely,
stuff like that. Send us on, if you get a chance, send us on a picture on WhatsApp, and we'll do a short and all and stuff like that, and throw it up on the channel on Sunday.
100%, you know.
Yeah, big up, Daz. All right, Danny. Uh, Big shout to everyone on the chat. Absolutely, we love you all,
Definitely,
folks.
definitely,
The
lads.
Highbury Arsenal and the Emirates Arsenal are like two different clubs. Absolutely. That Highbury ground was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The crowd were right on you and stuff
On the
like that.
pitch,
It's
yeah,
just many times did you watch matches there where players used to go up over hoardings and stuff like that and all. It was so on you and stuff like that.
yeah.
And when those Arsenal fans got going in that North Bank and stuff like that, there was no stopping them and stuff like that.
Great
Incredible.
place. And do you remember the camera angle used to be so close to the pitch and all? It used to
Yeah.
be just,
It
it's
nearly it
great.
nearly reminded me of the match we had against Luton there
Oh
couple
yeah,
of
yeah,
weeks
yeah.
ago.
And
Where
yeah,
the camera
one of
angle, you nearly
those,
think
yeah,
the camera guy is sitting on top of the shed roof
yeah,
kind of thing and
yeah.
stuff like that and all. Yeah. Really,
Great.
really old
But
school and cool.
I've actually obviously my mother-in-law Vaughn's mom was a big Arsenal fan. We brought her over for her 50th, and it's mad how like you come out of Highbury, is it Highbury Underground, yeah? And
Yeah,
Highbury's on your left. You just see the Emirates on the right hand side. But the Emirates, it's the whole thing around it and stuff like that,
yeah.
It's
It's like a mothership.
it's unbelievable. And
Yeah.
obviously they've a big picture of David O'Leary out there because he still holds the record appearances for Arsenal as well.
Yeah,
And obviously the statue of Henri and stuff like that. So
that's right.
yeah, no, it's class to go and see. Obviously, I'm a United fan. I wanted to wear the jersey on the on the day, but I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed. So but yeah, no, it was good crack.
I
But
remember when they started. I remember when they started doing the development of Highbury as well, didn't they?
yes,
I don't think the apartments. I think it was they weren't that expensive either. Like, and I believe they did. Did they leave something in the courtyard?
they have
Something
to.
belonged to
Yeah, there's
Highbury or something.
yeah, and the stand where the players used to go in, the entrance is still the exact same. Like
Yeah.
it's
Must have been because it was protected or a listed feature or something like that, so they had to
yeah,
keep it and stuff like that.
it's
But it's
no,
yeah,
but it's class to look at. We got a few pictures outside and stuff
yeah,
like that. As a football fan, I love seeing stadiums and stuff like that
yeah,
as well. So it
yeah,
doesn't matter
absolutely.
who's played there.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't take away as well. I mean, the Emirates is a fabulous stadium as well and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah,
So,
it's
um,
it's a whole.
Daz, I'm not too sure who else is on the card. Have you seen anyone else on the card, Marky, for
I
Heidi?
know Gary Cully is fighting. Who else did I see? Liam Gaynor. A few others. I've so many names in my head, but yeah, no, there's a few decent fights in the undercard. All right.
Um, yeah, Niall, it looks like Klopp really wants to play McAllister in the six. Hope it works, but for now, I hate the idea. He's a CM, not a DM. I trust Klopp 100%. Anyway, yeah, I think that will sort itself out, Danny, because he's going to be up against Rodri. So
Yeah.
he's not going to. I think being up against Rodri, I think that will stabilize the formation because he's not going to be given that free reign that he gets with other teams where he can flip into an eight if it suits him and kind of get away with it because you won't get away with that with City. So I think the City game will be more a tactical kind of chess game. We will cover it on Friday in the preview, but I think it'll be more of a tactical chess game. I don't think it'll be as open as we've seen with other games. I'd be very surprised if it is. I think the shackling of Holland and all that. Now we'll have to figure out what players are available and are a lot of these injuries just spoof leading up to big games and stuff like this and all. But we'll see what happens. But I think
Pep usually it is, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I think I don't see. I think McAllister will be pulling the strings in the six, being up against Rodri and stuff like that. I think that will be the case. I think it'll be more structured, as opposed to if you look at the last couple of matches, especially where we haven't won. Our structure and our formation has just gone all over the place. It was too fluid, and then it just sort of became a kind of a mess, and we couldn't kind of get things done. But I think against City, it'll be way more structured. People will be told what their job is and to stick to their job. Even with Trent and stuff like that, it won't be as loose as it's been up till now. So we'll see what happens. But certainly looking forward to it. Can't wait. The big games are always great, aren't they?
Yeah. 100%.
Acers, Tottenham supporters left jerseys and scarves in time capsule in Highbury Centre Circle. No, they didn't. Not a
Remember,
chance.
like Stones putting that Galatasaray flag in the middle of the Fenerbahce pitch that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams to score in all big games this weekend. There's the shout for an early beat the bookie on a Monday.
On the
So I
Acers.
like the sound of that. Let's take a bit of League of Ireland.
Funny
You
you
spoke
mentioned that,
about this
cause
before. But go on.
now just before we came on, you mentioned Rovers, and this came up in my memories the other day from back in the day. I don't know if you can see that there.
Barely. Was when you were modelling the kids, was it?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Quality.
But yeah, listen, I've talked about this before about the Irish teams. You know, over the course of a season, if you play the amount of matches you play in the league and you go on to win it, you get 125,000. When Dundalk qualified or got to the qualifiers for the Champions League, they got 350,000 just for qualifying for the tournament.
Yeah.
Shamrock Rovers 12 years ago qualified for the group stages of the Europa League, played Spurs. You mentioned Spurs there, Racer, in White Hart Lane. They took the lead as well against Harry Redknapp. They got 300,000 for that. But at the time, I think the money was 115,000 for the league at the time. But this has been going on for I don't know how many years. Listen, it all goes back to one man, Champagne Football. We all know who we're talking about. He called the League of Ireland the problem child. Trapattoni, who was the international manager at the time, didn't think Ireland had a league. So it's an absolute shambles. It's great to see the fans getting back into it. You're seeing 40. What was it? How many thousand was that? 43,000. Yeah, 43,000 at the Aviva last Sunday for Pats and Bowls. The attendances have gone up. The next thing will be for the stadiums to kind of you go to some, like I remember going to Oriel Park to referee a match years ago, and it hasn't changed since. The pitch hasn't changed. All the money Dundalk got for all these things, and they still have that poxy Astro down there. The Brandywell is the exact same, but it's an absolute sham that, as you see, Jonathan Hill. Listen, it's Mr. Delaney set precedence to what people get paid in that place, and it hasn't changed since he left. And how long's he gone now? He's gone a good few years now as well, you know.
How do you fix this? Because this is not something that will be fixed by attendances and that kind of thing and stuff like. Because if this guy's paying himself 270 grand, and these guys are traveling the length and breadth of the country playing 36, 38 games, whatever it is, to win a league and getting paid 125 grand, like that stinks. That's not grounds. That's not attendances. That's not nothing like that. That's a shambles.
Oh no, no, I'm not saying it, but that what I'm saying is it
Yeah.
should increase, because you see they're getting more crowds at the games and stuff like that. The standard is certainly improving. Listen, I know the League of Ireland isn't for everyone. I've always been a supporter of it. Obviously, I'm a Shells fan, but I've always been a supporter of the league itself, especially seeing a lot of these young lads coming through. Like Robbie Gaffney, who was on this program, was talking about when a young Jim Beglin was in the same Shamrock Rovers team as him. They played a match against Liverpool. He got scouted. He gets a move across the water. This has been happening since the 70s and 80s. You know, you've had the likes of Kevin Doyle, Shane Long, Noel Hunt, Kevin Hunt, Wes Houlihan came from Shells, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The league has produced players. The last one, listen, Evan Ferguson came from Bowes when you look at it as well. You have Pat Mason Malia, he's only 17, nearly 18 now. He's going to be the next best thing that's going over to England as well. Mark my words on that. He's going to get moved to England as well. But like the clubs are doing that side, producing the players. The fans are doing their thing. Now it's up to the FAI to pump money into the game itself, and that's starting off by that. Listen, you can talk about sponsors. There's how many teams you see about 3 or 4 sponsors on the back of each team's jersey. The sponsorship is there for the teams, but it's up to the FAI now to basically like pump a lot more money, and it starts at grassroots as well. They haven't been doing that in years, but that's for another episode as well. But 125,000 is measly compared to what you see, you know.
Like and I mean, these are only what we call over here the full-time club in the league, realistically, you know. But I just when you look at it like that, I mean, how does that 125 grand, if you think it over the course of a season, and you think about a squad of whatever it is, 24, 25 players, whatever they have, and you break it down by 25 guys, by X round of matches, and all that kind of thing, it's absolute pittance. It's absolute pittance.
Definitely.
And it's just, and the money's there. There's no doubt the money's there. Like, who's allowing this guy at 270 grand? And we can talk about, you know, John Delaney and all the damage that happened in the FAI and everything that's come out and stuff like that. But this is 2021 and 2022. Who's sorting this? These are guys who went cap in hand to the government to be saved and stuff like that. Who's signing off on 270 grand for this guy while these 30 lads up above win a league and get 125 grand?
It's a joke. Absolute joke. And you go back, I know I keep saying it, but when Delaney was there, when they got Trapattoni in, sure, wasn't it Dermot Desmond or JP McManus was paying half his wages that time?
Yeah.
So, like, you're looking at it going, it's an absolute sham. That's it. What was it in? Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, you said Mark. So you probably know that fella, the one in the green and white shirt. Yeah, Amanda did. Remember at the Lewis? Was he on the Lewis tracks or something?
Yeah. No, it was at the bottom of Henry Street. Yeah,
bottom of Henry Street. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Lewis was in behind him and stuff.
Yeah, listen, I always big fan. Like I played for Dublin City under 21s for a good few seasons. Got to train with the first team with Dublin City and all. I remember when Roddy Collins took over, we were in Alsa and he brought Carlton Palmer into to the changing room, and we're all sitting there going, what the hell's happening here? He used to fly Carlton Palmer and Effin and Coco over on a Thursday. They used to be put up in the Gresham Hotel on O'Connell Street. They play a match on the Friday with Dublin City, and then they get flown home on the Saturday morning. And other lads are going from, like, you'd electricians, plumbers, this, that, and the other, going from work up to Alsa training and stuff like that. You know, there's always been these little things going on in the league, and it's just, it's a shame. But it's great to see.
We call it the professional banger system.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, I'll never forget. Myself and Ryan were sitting there in the change room, the Alsa, when Carlton Palmer walked in, and you're kind of like, you're doing a double take. You're like, is that actually him? Like, and then he went around, shook everyone's hands in the change room. Myself and the other goalkeepers went out to train, and that was it. Like, you know, and the next time you seen him was on a match day on the Friday afternoon before meeting up and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, I'd love to know how much of the funding is relied on by the FAI in the background. It's probably big, I would imagine. But you know what's to stop? What's to stop the 10 or 12 teams or whatever it is? What's to stop them just giving the two fingers to the FAI, creating a breakaway league like the Premier League, say?
Yeah.
And run it themselves. Have a club owned through a committee and stuff like that, and run it themselves, harvest the money and divvy the money up properly in terms of prize money, funding, and everything that's needed and stuff like that. Why are they still associating themselves with these absolute chancers and stuff like that and all, you know?
Again, it goes back to finances. A lot of the clubs, you know, with insurance and this, that, and the other, they can't survive. We've seen it happen with so many teams, the likes of Sporting Fingal, Dublin City, who I play for myself, Monaghan, Cabinteely. Recently, they had to amalgamate back with Bray Wanderers. They couldn't afford it. You know, so somewhat they have a lifeline with the FAI. There is a small amount of money pumped in that saves them. But you look back at when you were talking there a minute ago about we were the only we were the only international team in the world with a sponsor on our jerseys for years. Remember, on the replica jerseys, we'd Opel, we'd Aircon, we'd Tree. All that money was pumped in as well. None of that went to the league. None of that went to the
Yeah.
league. None of that left the offices in Abbottstown from the FAI. Like it's
Well,
it's
it did lead the offices, but
yeah,
not
well,
in the
not
right
yeah,
way.
yeah, exactly. But it's a
Yeah.
shame. But no, clubs can't do it. They can't survive. There is money, small amount of money pumped in by the FAI, and by the time they cover their insurances and whatever, they can't afford to go out on their own. That's the simple thing behind it, And the likes of Rovers been successful, and Shells as well. Shells got a new sponsor for their jersey. They're back with O'Neill's now and stuff like that as well. There's been money pumped in, and they got rid of the Turkish owner there. They're after getting Irish investors back in now as well. Duffers after signing a new contract and stuff. So and they're actually gone full time now as well. Shells have.
Mm.
Pats and Bows as well have gone full time from the start of last season. Rovers had been the only club doing it, but a lot of clubs are doing it now. But because they're full time, you expect more than 125,000, man. That's what some Premier League players get in a week, paid in a week, like, and not
That's
even a
what
good Premier League player.
that's what the majority, I would say 70% of Premier League players nearly get paid that in a week.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%. Like, so
Like
it's
the Premier League players wouldn't even chat you in relation to 125 grand. These lads are trying to earn that by going through a whole season.
yeah,
And in terms of the funding, I get it in terms of facilities and insurance and things like that and all, but you have to take into account as well. If you look at the league, I think Rovers are the only professional team. As you said, Shells have maybe gone professional and stuff like that. But for how long have Rovers only been that team?
oh yeah,
You know what I
for
mean? Like
years,
it's
like,
crazy,
and to think as well, Rovers the most successful club in the history of Irish football.
Yeah.
When they left Milltown, they had no home, and the FAI didn't
Mm.
help them out at all. They were playing the RDS. They played 2 home games in Cork. That's how bad it was, and they got no help whatsoever from the FAI. So this goes back many years as well.
Yeah. They were saying that the winnings from the 4 in a row still falls 40 grand
For yeah,
short of your man's earnings for 2 years as
it's a
opposed
joke.
to 4 years.
It's a joke,
It's
man.
absolutely. I don't know how they stomach it.
And like,
I'm sick here looking at that 270 grand. And listen, I've no problem with people being in position getting paid for what they have to be paid for in terms of responsibility. That's fine.
yeah,
But you can't sit around at a desk in FAI headquarters pulling 270 G's out of the place when the lads who are up and down the country weekend after
yeah,
weekend in horrible weather, in horrible facilities,
yeah.
and you're throwing them 125.
Fragment,
Nah.
yeah. Forget
You
it.
know,
And
that 270 there as well. I'd imagine there's a little bonus or two on top of that as well. That mightn't be far off the 125 if you dug deep, maybe.
yeah, should
I'm not
they
too
like
sure, but
the lads in the FAI get their free cars and their allowances and stuff like that as well? It's almost like they're politicians.
benefit in
Um,
kind isn't a thing in the FAI.
oh
Certainly not.
yes, oh yes. I've spent a lot of time out there, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. And we were only talking about Stephen Kenny's wage there. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, 500 grand.
500 grand, like.
510 or something like that, yeah.
So
510 grand.
yeah, no, it's shocking. But listen, I I love to see because the standard of football has gone up. Like I said, I know a lot of people aren't into the League of Ireland, but if you did have a free weekend, I would suggest when the league starts back to go watch a live game.
Yeah.
Whether Tallaght Stadium's obviously a great stadium to go to. The new stand should be open behind the goal now for the start of the new season as well, and they'll be in
Yeah.
Europe as well. So go down. Shelburne be in Europe as well, so Talca Park's a great stadium to go to as well.
Absolutely. And it's a great thing
100%.
to share with your kids and stuff like that and all and stuff. So
And of course, the
it's
stories, the
well worth
amount of ex-League of Ireland players you've had on here, the stories
it.
and stuff like that, and the players they play with and against and so.
Yeah.
Felix Healy played with Georgie Best and Bobby Charlton and all in a
Yeah.
testimonial game.
Yeah.
But listen, well, I digress.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just frustrating and it's just you know what I mean? It just goes to show that aspects of that Delaney situation still haven't gone away yet when you
It's a
see this
knock-on
kind of
effect.
thing, you know.
It's been going
Yeah.
on for years, and it will be going on for a few more years as
Yeah.
well till they get their shit together.
Yeah, absolutely. Two more things to go through anyway, folks. So let us know if you've anything in the comments or anyone wants to talk about. Mo Salah targeted by pitch invaders in Egypt versus Sierra Leone. Tough watch there last night. It looked strange, but no, I don't want this to be blown out of proportion as well. It shouldn't happen. But it wasn't the headline that some of the headlines were out there. But it's we've seen the situation over here over there at the AFCON and stuff like that as well. Like, security is not potentially what it should be. And this guy is a megastar. This guy is a superstar out there on the global stage that
Brand.
represents the continent of Africa and stuff like that and all, you know what I mean? So I don't know what the issue is with Sierra Leone. I know they've gone through an awful lot of coups and upheavals and, internal wars and all that kind of stuff and all, and haven't had an easy ride and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But of all the people to be targeting in the world, probably one of the nicest human beings on the planet is Mo Salah. Why would it be Mo Salah? So it
Mad,
was
and
just
like,
kind of weird.
how frightening is it if you're a footballer? Like, they can carry anything into the stadium, and it takes a while for the security. It depends on who's doing security, but
Mm,
it takes them a while to come onto the pitch. Like, there was a video actually I seen during the week there, back in the 90s, Schmeichel throwing a pitch invader, a Galatasaray fan off the pitch, like,
yeah.
and your man's on the pitch for a good 2 minutes or so before any of the security or stewards come over. And that was back in the day. Security should be much tighter now, but
The,
that
the
was
talk is now, there was a conversation this morning. I was listening on Talk Sport and I thought it was interesting that maybe when kind of your players are going away in international duty, should they be taking club security with them? Because there's
yeah,
obviously security there in the UK that looks after Mo Salah and players of this level and stuff like that and all. And they were saying that is there a case now if the actual countries that you're playing for on international break can't get their act together, if you like, and
yeah,
stuff like that, should you be bringing your own professional security?
like
And
Messi.
especially on the back of the situation with Luis Diaz and the mum and dad and stuff
Yeah,
like that and
yeah,
all, you know what I mean? I think there's definitely a case for it. And I think we forget as well, because we're kind of encapsulated in not in world football, but in European football. So the Germanys and the Austrias and the Frances and all this kind of thing, we forget these guys are going into areas that there isn't any wealth, that
yeah,
the GDP of a country might be the equivalent of some of these players' wages for a year.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like, and we have to take that into account as well. It's not a justification of what happens. This should never happen.
yeah.
But we're not talking about Germany here or Switzerland or Italy or France or Spain or Portugal. We're talking Sierra Leone.
Oh, yeah,
They basically, their fundamental history has been battle and war and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? We've
yeah,
heard it so many times: coups, upheavals, changes of governments, all this kind of stuff and all. You know what I mean? So, there's obviously a certain amount of anger that builds up there in people over generations and
mm,
stuff like that and all. You know what I mean? And and Egypt would be seen as being one of the more prosperous countries there as
yeah,
well. So obviously there's that kind of thing when you're dealing with a continent. There's always that kind of thing of the haves and have-nots. So
yeah.
there's obviously tension there. So it's so careful, because it only takes one crazy guy or girl there, that could just do him and
Yeah,
do him
yeah.
proper, really, really bad. And yeah, I think there might be a case where clubs have to look at this now, or maybe they have to look at where they're playing matches and stuff like that, and see, you
Absolutely,
know,
yeah.
no disrespect to anyone who's from Sierra Leone. I understand there's a plight there and there's all that stuff that goes on, but I think when you're looking at players like Mo Salah, who are genuine global superstars, these type of players, maybe you have to look and go, well, is it really a good idea that that's where you should be going to play football? Or is there another way of doing this and stuff like that?
I
So I
think
don't know. Maybe,
I think they all need Lionel Messi security guards. You ever see him at the side of the pitch? Even when a kid runs
yeah,
on, he's straight over there, like.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is, you just never know. You know what I mean? You just never know, and that's the problem. And it must be so frightening and stuff like that. You think of Mo Salah, who's like at the height of security when he's around Liverpool and on these tours and stuff like that and all. But then when you go back home and you're playing your international football on the continent and stuff like that, there's a dilution there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
the same. And not only that, the mentality is not the same
Same
either.
order,
So you have to understand that as well. There's a lot of stuff there that's built up over years in how the continent has been broken up and how maps have been drawn and all that kind of stuff and how the whole thing has evolved. So I just think it's something that has to be looked at, and they just need to be so careful, so careful. The only other thing I want to end with, of course, we'll pop up Hogan Lee Trophy here again in a second. Unfortunately, Bobby Firmino losing his dad at a very young age. I think he was 62 or something like that. Really, I think he was 62 anyway, 61 or 62. I think there was 30 years between them. I think Bobby's 32 and the dad was 62. But very, very, very sad and stuff like that, to lose your dad at that age. The one thing I would say is I'm sure he was super proud of his son. And I was thinking it was kind of like, I wonder, I'm sure Bobby's not thinking this, but I wonder, Bobby's out there in Saudi Arabia now. But when things like this happen, I know clubs like Liverpool and Man United, bigger clubs and stuff like that, they really come together with those support structures for you and stuff like that, So you really feel part of a family where you can share the condolences and the grief and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure culturally but I was kind of thinking when I heard the news yesterday, I was thinking, would Bobby love to be still at Liverpool where you'd have all that support and outpouring for you and stuff like that, so you can kind of share that grief to get you through it and stuff like that and all. But yeah, very, very sad. And of course, our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to Bobby, all the extended Firmino family and stuff like that. Very sad on the passing of his dad at this difficult time. That's it. Another great show. I will be back on Wednesday with Pro Wrestling Weekly. To figure out, we're on the road to Survivor Series this Saturday anyway, so I'll be discussing that plus loads of other stuff to be discussed as well. Thursday I'll be back with Thursday Tier Talk with Dazzler, so we'll have the Premier League preview, beat the bookie, all that kind of good stuff, and we'll obviously get Darren's thoughts on the points deduction with Everton as well. I don't think these stories are going to go away too soon either. And Friday I will do the big preview for Liverpool versus Man City. So if anyone wants, any of you Liverpool folk out there in the chat, if you want to join me on the show to preview the game, you're more than welcome. Or if there's a Man City fan out there who's not being traded for fear of relegation, you could also join me if you want as well. Hit me up and just let me know. Marky, once more, Hogan Elite Trophy.
Yeah, like I said, lads, any is there in the chat, just go on to Insta, give us a follow there. And we've loads of events coming up. We're going to be Saturday week, we're in Lucan United. Santa's arriving to hand out the selection boxes for all the kids up there at the academy. So we'll have our trophies up there. A few more slots available in the month of December. And then next year, we're hitting weddings and confirmations and communions. And like I said, we have a few Legends events coming up next year as well. So keep your eye out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as with it being the late toy show week and stuff like that, there's a selection box for everyone in the audience when you go up there. So don't forget that as well. Danny, with the last comment, sorry to hear this about Bobby, about Firmino. I have all the admiration for Bobby. Yeah, absolutely. Just a solid human being.
Talking of the toy show, Jack, if you're in the chat, I'll be expecting your review of your very first toy show. Come on to the mashup now into the comments and let us know what you think next week.
Yeah, Danny, I'd like to join your streams, but I lag every 5 words I speak speaking English. Absolutely, no problem. Get yourself a VPN, Danny. You have a VPN, that'll sort out all that kind of stuff for you. To pod or not to pod, that is the question. Hashtag wrestling. Always the case. Wrestling, as they say. Listen, folks, thanks for joining us in the chat. As always, another pleasure, Marky, as always, on the Monday mashups. And we will talk to you again real soon. Cheers,
lads.